Hello everyone, my name is Rohan, and for my game, I decided to create a game called Space Dodge. So Space Dodge is basically a game where you're supposed to avoid some obstacles and collect points with suns and planets. And suns are worth 100 points and planets are worth 50 points. That's the basic premise of the game. So before we go into like a demo of the game, I'm gonna give you a quick overview of some of the rules of the game. And so there's two different modes. There's easy mode and veteran mode. So like I said, the basic goal is just to avoid the obstacles and gain points. So in easy mode, rule number one is to avoid black holes. So I thought that since we're in space, if you get sucked up by a black hole, you're gonna die. So avoid black holes. Rule number two, you earn points by collecting suns, which are worth 100 points, and planets, which are worth 50 points. Rule number three is that you earn even more points by collecting power-ups. So one of the power-ups I had in this game was double points. And player with the most points wins, and most importantly, have fun. And now this is for veteran mode. This is a little more difficult than easy mode. Rule number one is that every rule from easy mode applies. The game is now 1.5 times speed, and the frequency of suns and planets is half. So basically now the speed of the board moving, so it's a moving board and you're going to be dodging obstacles, and so it's going to be a little faster. And now those suns and planets which you originally collected for 100 points and 50 points respectively, the frequency of them is going to be halved, so they're not going to show up as much, meaning points are going to be a lot harder to collect. And now in the veteran mode, we've introduced asteroids. If you hit an asteroid, you'll lose 50% of your health and all of your points. So basically, like if you hit 2 asteroids, you're done. But regardless, you lose all of your points if you do hit an asteroid. So it kind of sets you back in the game. Rule number 4, suns will now decrease your health by 1 each time from getting burned, because as you pass through the sun, it's going to be a little hot, right? So if you have 100 health and you hit a sun, it's going to 99, 98, you're going to lose 1 each time, but they are still worth 100 points in terms of points. You'll see what I'm talking about a little bit later. And rule number 5 is that instead of black holes completely killing you like they did in easy mode, you will lose 25% health, and the game will speed up 0.25 more to become 1.75, 2.0, 2.25, and so on. So basically what that's saying is that if you hit 4 black holes, you're done. But the game will speed up starting from 1.5 speed, which it already is, to 0.25 more to become 1.75, 2.0, 2.25, and so on until you've hit 4 black holes and then you're done. So now let me just give you a quick live demo of the project. I'm going to start with just the basic 2 players. You can enter as many players as you want in this game, but let's do 2 players, easy mode to start with. So I'm just going to get out of the way here so that I'm not in the way of the black hole. But now you can see I'm collecting points with suns. Suns are worth 100 points. Planets are worth 50. And I don't know if I saw that double points earlier, but here. So if you pick up the double points, now they'll be worth 200 points for suns and 100 points for planets. Now I'm just going to go ahead and die. Oh, I hit a black hole, you lose. Select next player to continue. So I hit next player, and now player 2 shows up with 100 health and 0 points, just like normal. So wow, I already got lucky with the double points over here, so why don't I just pick that up real quick, get myself some planets, some suns. And I used the QT collision mechanics to do this, which was really interesting to do. But I don't know how well they work, to be honest with you. But at least if I'm hitting an object, it gives me the points and this moving board. So that was pretty cool. So keep going, keep going. Oh, and I got into a trap with the black holes. 2,100 points. So just remember, if you looked at the points from earlier, now it's going to declare a winner of whoever had the most points. Player 1 had 1,200 points, player 2 had 2,100 points, and then it says, congrats player 2, you won the game. Okay, now let's just quit out of this real quick. And let me run this again in veteran mode. So we'll do 2 players, again, just to make it quick, and let's do veteran mode. So remember, in veteran mode, planets are still worth 50, suns are worth 100, but you lose 1 health each time, so go 100, 99, 98, so let me just demonstrate that real quick here. And if you hit a black hole, you're going to speed up, so you're going to notice the game is already faster, but if you hit a black hole, it's going to go even faster. And then if you hit an asteroid, you're going to lose 50% of your health. Sorry if it's so many rules to keep up with, but if you want to just go back and look at the rules again, maybe that would be helpful in case you're just kind of confused. And then I think there was one more thing. So yeah, with the asteroids, you also lose all your points. So let's just go through. So you can already tell it's kind of faster. Let's hit a black hole. Oh, so much faster. But now notice how the frequency of the suns and the planets has decreased a lot. And then, oh, you're dead. You just died because you hit 2 asteroids, and those take away 50% of your health, and then now you have 0. So let's do the next player. So I'm gonna move out of the way again because there's so many black holes over there. So I'm gonna try to get more points in this one. So it's definitely difficult with the veteran mode, but you know, it's the beauty of the game, I guess. Notice how when I'm hitting the suns, I'm losing 1 health. And, ooh, double points. Very nice. Oh, goodness. Let me hit a black hole just to show I'll speed up. Cool. Okay. Oh, and even faster. See, I had another black hole and it made me faster. And I lost. Select next player to continue. But since we only had 2 players, it's going to show me a score where player 1 with a measly 350 points and player 2 with 1400 points. So congratulations, player 2. You won the game. So let's quit. And now I wanted to talk about inheritance and show you that in the code real quick. So in the player class, I used inheritance with a player and a veteran player. So we have this player, right? So I'm going to go into my .h file. So we have a player, and a player just has a name. And it's got an X value, a Y value, a width, a height, which will be set. You don't want to set them in the constructor because, like, there was some stuff in my code that made that really complicated and whatnot. But because you want it to be like have multiple players. So anyways, let's not get into that. But basically, yeah, so you have X, Y, width, height. So that's that like spaceship that you saw. That's the player. And then, you know, some points, if the player has a double points power up or not, if it's a veteran player or not. And then down here is where I use my inheritance actually. So I made a veteran player that inherits the public player. And there's my my constructor for that. And then I overrided the is colliding function. So obviously there's different behavior between the player and the veteran player in terms of colliding. So in a player, right, it's pretty simple because that's just like an easy player. So an easy player has just like if you hit a black hole, you die. You know, let me go over here to show you a little bit more clearly. So, right, if a player is colliding, right, so if you hit an enemy, you die. So otherwise, if you hit a sun, you get this many. You get 200 points if it's double points, 100 points if it's just a regular sun. Same with planets, double points is 100, otherwise it's 50. And then, yeah. But then with the veteran player, it's much more complicated because you have, like, okay, well, if it's an enemy, which is basically like a black hole, your health decreases by 25, and your board speed increases. And then if you have a sun, you lose some health, but you still get 100 or 200 points, depending on if you have double points or not. Same with the planet, you have a 50 or 100 points, same kind of behavior there, double points, but then now we also added the asteroids in here. And if you hit 2 asteroids, you're dead, or if you hit 4 black holes, you're dead. So that this has a lot more logic that it accounts for in comparison to the previous. But now let's see. The design pattern that I used. So let's see. So I went to the player class and I created an enum of easy player and veteran player for to use the factory design pattern. And then over, I gotta find it, sorry about that. Over here, I made a create function for the factory, and I created a veteran player and easy player as the types, just like we looked at in class, similar to when we did the disease factory. And then I used that in my welcome class up here, actually, which is like the welcome page, which has all the rules and everything. And I create a P factory, and then I have a veteran player and a regular player, and then I use that down here. With the singleton class, actually, pretty cool. So I use another one over here. I use the singleton class and use the get instance function. So yeah, so I hope that explains how I did it. I wanted to have the easy player and the veteran player be the same instance because I don't want because you don't want just two separate windows because it has to have the same score. Like the same kind of scoreboards and stuff, and you want to be able to go back and play the easy mode and the veteran mode in the same instance. Okay, and then now you wanted me to talk about any design decisions that you made to begin with and decided to change and why. So initially, I just had three. I just had the main window, the board, and the player. And then now I decided, okay, well, I need a scoreboard, I need a welcome page, and then I still couldn't figure out what kind of design pattern I wanted to do. I thought I could do a singleton, but I was like, okay, the factory would probably be a good idea because I have the easy player and the veteran player, so I might as well create a factory for those ones. And any decisions I made that went particularly well. Well, I feel like just the general layout of it, where I had like a welcome page, a main window, and a scoreboard. I think that just that layout really helps. So you go from like rules to the players actually playing to the end result of like a scoreboard. I think that like design decision was really good, and I don't think I would have had that before. I feel like I would have kind of just all thrown it in the main window, to be honest, and shown everything on there and hidden stuff and done that. But I feel like the best decision was kind of to separate those windows out and make them like once you click on a button on one window, it shows another window and that kind of stuff. And I did not do any extra credit, unfortunately, but I hope that you liked my game. Again, if you want to see the demo again, just go ahead and go back and look at it, or if you want to go look at the rules again and then go and look at how my game's logic works, go ahead and do that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the class overall. I really enjoyed the class a lot. It was a really good class to learn C++ and to even learn game design, which I haven't really done before. And it was nice working with all of you, and I hope that I see you in my other classes. Bye.